Hi everyone, Kim here with Sunshine Creations and Crafts. I had made this video yesterday and went to upload it and realized it was 22 minutes long. So I went ahead and we're going to use the Movie Maker. I've sped it up and I'll be just telling you what it is that I'm doing here. This is a regular canvas and I had bought this at Aaron Brothers. It's an artist canvas and it's 5x7. It does not have a frame to it. I know lots of them that you buy do have frames. This one I'm just using to play around with and trying to decide what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and put the matte medium on, and with the matte medium or gloss medium, either one, the purpose of it is you put it on your canvas or your paper and it keeps it wet so that you can add in your colors and it's not going to dry, and you reapply this over and over again. Now here I'm talking about different ways that you can put the medium on, and I chose the paintbrush, and really should put a good coat of this on. I may not have put so much. I am new at this, so my experimenting is the more I do it, the more I learn from it. Now I'm going to try this with just like a big newbie no-no. I mean, do not dry medium. Never ever dry medium. This totally defeats the purpose of it. I should have put more medium on at this point, but I didn't. Learn from my mistakes. I'm going to be using some spackle, some quick dry spackle that I found in our garage as I was helping my husband clean it out. These are Art Mind stencils I got at Michael's, and you get 3 of these. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out the heart ones. And I'll go ahead and that'll be my first layer of texture. It's a real cool feeling. It's like puffy. And you can put your stencils on straight or crooked. I just opted to put it on straight. Now, I kind of struggled with this. I don't know if it was the size of my spackle or the size of the stencil or what it was I was doing, but it kept popping up. And this is actually not this is a thing that you frost a cake with. I couldn't find the right kind of tool that was small enough, so I went ahead and used this. It worked. It served the purpose, but I really needed something smaller. And I did some extra texturing there, and I just took it up. And I'll wash that a little later. Use my little baby wipe because I don't like that big blob there. And I scraped that off, which wasn't necessary because mixed media is about texture. And I'm learning that. And I bumped the camera, sorry about that. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to dry the spackle. It does dry pretty quickly on its own, but I knew I had a limited amount of time, so I was kind of trying to help it along. I'm touching it, and it's doing pretty well. It's drying pretty quickly, so. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside, and I pull out this really pretty heart here. I wanted to put that on this. This is sort of a Valentine's Cards and Projects number 9 that I'm doing, in addition to my mixed media for my ICWIC group that I'm involved in. And I put that on the vellum. That's archival ink from Ranger. The best thing to use on vellum. It dries quickly. I'll wipe that off. Set it aside. I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun again to try and move the process a little bit faster. And I'm going to cut this out. I could have torn it, but I wanted a more clean cut on this one. And I'm getting a little impatient, so I went ahead and just cut the thing out. And it's all dry. Notice how it's not smearing. See how I touched it? Yeah, it's not smearing. Little bump of the camera again. Okay, great. Now put that scraps aside, and I'm going to go ahead and put a layer of acrylic paint on it. This is like a pink color. Now here would be a good time for me to apply another layer of medium. And what I did here, I made the mistake of putting the paint on, and I really liked that brush because the actual tip of it is kind of designed so it spreads out, but it wasn't giving me the effect that I wanted. Again, I should have applied more medium. instead of applying more paint. And if you apply the medium to certain areas, it'll lighten up the areas and have some areas dark, so it gives that real nice flow of color. And I'm painting over the spackle. You'll see it's all dry. Love, love that spackle. Now, I need to know from you mixed media artists, what is the best type of glue when you're doing this? Do you use Mod Podge, or do you just reach for the medium when you're putting this on? Now, my thought process was I have to dry the area that I want the heart to go on, so that the Mod Podge will settle and I can put my vellum on there. I'm thinking I should have or could have just put another layer of medium, and that vellum would have stuck just fine. It's going to curl up here, which is typical of vellum to do when it's wet. And I'm going to go ahead and put another layer of the Mod Podge on. I work with Mod Podge on other crafting projects, so I'm familiar with that and what it does. In the end, it ended up just working out just fine. So maybe you have the option to use both medium and Mod Podge. So I'm going to set that side to dry, and I'm just showing you I found some bubble wrap in the garage as well. This is Recollections paper from Michaels, and it's a real soft cottony feeling. I don't know how else to describe it, and I'm using some archival ink on that as well. This is a script block, and I do not remember the name of it, but I did list it on my blog, cardcreationsbykim.blogspot.com. And I'm just ripping up some pieces here. Getting out my canvas again. And how funny that I grabbed the medium to glue this on. And I'm going to try and get a little bit more because my palette's almost empty. This is Fired Brick by Tim Holtz Distress Ink. And I wanted to put more color in. I didn't want it to just be all pink and black. So I went for that real bright red. I ended up really liking that. So the medium worked. And that's real thick paper. So get a little bit more there and ink that up. One thing that I thought about after I was all done with this was I could have actually stamped the script directly on the canvas, but that's less texture, and I really wanted a lot of texture on this one. This is Tulle, and it's designed in a black rose, I'm going to call it. And I love the netting on this. I'm going to cut off a little bit, but I'm going to leave some of that netting on there. And I'm going to use Mod Podge to put that on. Trying to find my brush that I needed. And a good layer of that. And trying to decide, where am I going to put that? Okay, that's good right there. And I also have it in pink. And put some Mod Podge on that. Great. Now I was kind of like, what am I going to put in that corner there? So I went ahead and grabbed the bubble wrap and using black acrylic paint on that. And yeah, dipping it in, Kim, isn't going to work. So I went ahead and got the paintbrush. And I liked how this turned out because the first image is really dark, and as I stamped all over it, it got lighter and lighter. So I really like that, and I love the texture of it. I'll definitely be using bubble wrap again. This is Teresa Collins. These are little metal pieces, and I wasn't really sure the best way to glue this on, so I went ahead and got my Helmer's 450, which I use a lot on projects, and I like the way it works. It dries quickly, and you don't have to put too much on. I use popsicle sticks a lot. So we'll put that on there. It's a little crown. It's really, really pretty. Okay, now I'm getting out the red because I'm thinking this thing needs a little bit of more color to it. And I found this comb. Not found it, but I had it in my bathroom. And I wanted to put this on my mixed media. Now, the mistake that I made here was that I tried to put it on the canvas, holding it straight up and down instead of laying it down. So I didn't like it all how it looked. It just looked like a big blob. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to use my toothbrush. The toothbrush will look really cool. Well, it was a big blob as well. So I decided to just not get hung up on that and to go on to the next thing that I wanted to do. This is a rub-on, but I opted not to try to rub it on. I went ahead and tore it off, which I love that tear look, and I'm going to use some glue to put that on, but I'm going to go ahead and ink it around the edges first, and I used the Tim Holtz black soot and a little finger dauber, and we're going to put that around as well. Now I noticed at this point that I was running out of time, so I think I may have said I'm going to finish this off camera and post it on my blog, which I did, and I added some really cool stuff to it. One of the things I did was I got some sticker lettering and I put it down in the right corner, and I also sprayed it with some red-nosed reindeer Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, so it gave it a little bit more color as well. And I think that's all. Hey, thanks so much for watching, and check out the blog when you get a chance. Have a great day.